So, the question is, or the question I would like to answer, and I don't think we can answer it definitely yes or no, because I've never heard the man say whether he does support them or not, is, does Sargon of Akkad support the EDL? Now, we have to go back in time a couple of months ago to a protest that happened. At this protest, there was a guy who stood up and said, hey, Sargon's an ultra-liberal, if you support him, then you should support us. Now, this, to me, reeks of, they're aware of Sargon, they're aware of his popularity, and they're aware of the fact that some of what he says aligns with stuff what they say. Now, there is a point where you are allowed to be worried about immigrants. The point where you stop becomes where you become unconscionably racist about it. This is where you are worried by literally for no other reason that they are foreign. And the EDL in particular have been doing this pretty much since their inception. And the thing that I want to talk about in this video is the thing that really sort of pissed me off, because Sargon gave the EDL probably the best press day I think they have had in their history. Now, what happened? Well, after that video came out, Sargon decided he was going to have a talk with Tommy Robinson. Now, Tommy Robinson is the currently, I'm not 100% sure whether he is or isn't. I haven't been able to find out 100%. But he is sort of the leader of the EDL. Now, I think he's gone and created his own party, Pigda, I think, or something like that. But he comes on and he tells this whole tale of how the EDL are not racists. They've been smeared by the press as being these horrible racists who have never attacked anyone, who have never encouraged violence, which is absolutely false. They've had people come to their rallies and say, hey, these people are not British, which is, again, inspiring fear of others. And again, once you start to inspire fear of others, then you can pretty much dehumanize them, and then, who cares what they do and what they say? It doesn't matter. Because they're an other. You can do whatever you want to them. Now, as an interesting fact, he says that, the EDL's never caused any violence or tension. Well, EDL people who have supported the EDL have been arrested. There is a video of a reporter who was covering an EDL event, and he gets chased away by two EDL supporters shouting at him that if he says anything bad about the EDL, they'll come after him. There are a couple of other incidents that have happened, basically, after the EDL. For example, take the whole Rotherham thing. After the EDL came in and started going in Rotherham, guess what? Attacks on Muslims increased. Leicester, when the EDL went there were attacks on Muslims. I had a friend, I was at uni when that happened, and my friend, who was French, walking home, got attacked by EDL people. Came up to him and said, are you a foreigner? Stupidly said yes, and started laying into him, and guess what? They were EDL supporters when they were caught. What a surprise. Again, so these are things that, during this entire conversation, pretty much Sargon just let him get away with. Now, one of the big criticisms I find with Sargon is that he spends so much time looking at the left that he literally doesn't know what the right's doing. And he doesn't seem to pay any attention to their rhetoric, to their stupidity, to their, nonsense. And that is, again, to me, is just, again, outstanding. Because, again, if you have this guy who, in a tweet, said that it would be easier to justify Andrew Breivik, the guy who killed people in Norway, it would be easier to justify what he did if those people were Muslims. So he wasn't condemning the attack, he was just saying, he did it, but God, if only they'd been Muslims, they'd been so much more easier to, you know, to justify then. Damn. And it's just, again, and he says that, oh, the EDL has been infiltrated by these racists. Well, I'm sorry, Tommy, but you are, at the time, were in control. You were the one who was organising these rallies, the events. You fully knew who was speaking at the events, what they were saying. You could have said after they had spoken that the EDL doesn't, you know, endorse what this guy is saying. But no, you've never done. One of the funny things was, when you got put in prison, you told Sargon this whole sob story about, because of you've been painted as this racist and whatnot, that the prison put you in solitary confinement for no reason at all, no reason whatsoever. But when we look into your claim, which is rather easy to look into, turns out you were in prison inciting violence against Muslims in the prison itself. You were trying to, on purpose, provoke them to attacking you and to start a riot. A race riot in prison. Sargon doesn't challenge you on this, and that's been, you know, up until that interview, I was pretty much supporting Sargon, and since then, I've been forced to look at Sargon in a more critical light. And to be honest, I'm liking less and less what he has to say. And is Sargon a racist? No. Does he, I think, blow things out of proportion? I think he does. I think that he's certainly more in for it for the money, but then again, who isn't these days on YouTube? And, you know, you look at the Brexit thing. The Brexit thing is another perfect example. Okay, during this whole Brexit thing, Sargon had a couple of streams. He did his debate with Thunderfoot. Now, my question is to Sargon. Sargon is always about, oh, we need to have a talk with these, academics, intellectuals. Okay, well, why then, Sargon, did you not get someone who is an expert on Europe to come and talk with you? Because I'm pretty sure if you had gone out, you could have found someone. Instead, you decide to have a circle jerk with your with V and I think it was Kraut and T and a couple of other people, where you just like, yeah, fuck the EU, without, that's not a debate. Who was your person that was, standing up for the EU, who actually knew what he was talking about? You've never had someone who is an expert on the EU come and talk to you on it, or, had someone on your channel come and talk to you. Why have you never done this? I'd really like to know. Like, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy from the University of Liverpool who is a expert on EU law. Why have you not, approached him, say, hey, come on my channel, I'd like to talk to you about the EU and the, implications for Brexit. You've never had, an economist on. You've never had people who would, who you claim you want to talk to, and, talking about this rational discussion of ideas. But you never really have them on. And I'd like to know, why is that? And it's certainly not that they won't talk to you. I just think that you don't ask, I think, is the question. And that's to me, that's a bit worrying for someone who champions this whole, ideas of speech, and, that, ideas should be challenged. Because that is, to me, that is a contradiction. So anyway, that's my sort of my criticism of Sargon Akkad, and my big criticism of his interview with Tommy Robinson is that Sargon just didn't do his research and basically let Tommy Robinson paint the EDL as this family-friendly organisation, which it is far from. So there you go.